I looked into his eyes and then looked around at my 6th grade playground. I looked at all the other girls standing around me. Some were quiet, and some were uncomfortably laughing due to the fact that my bully had just called me a bitch. I looked around one more time to see if anybody else was going to stick up for me, but nobody did. And so with tears streaming down my face, I proceeded to tell him that yes, he must be a very sad boy for calling me such a terrible name. And yes, his home life must be terrible. And yes, he should go to the guidance counselor to talk about his issues before he lets them out at angry bursts towards me. Now, that night, I thought about why this made me so mad. And I realized it was because he called me a name, bitch, that can only be referred to a woman. Now, as a 6th grader, I saw this unfair. And I knew that girls around the world are being called these names every single day and being brought down. And I knew it hurt me more than anything I'd ever experienced. And so I didn't really understand the true effects of it or the extent of it until I was in high school. I remember walking down the hallways my very first day of high school, and I noticed the girls walked with their heads down and their shoulders slumped and their arms crossed, as if they were in a death camp. I would be like, really, it's okay, it's a cute outfit, stand up. But encouragement didn't always work. And I wanted to find the answers of why these girls were so insecure they couldn't walk down the hallways confidently. So as I searched, I came across a feminist club that was newly formed, and I thought they would give me the answers, and they did. They taught me that media and society's influence today is so detrimental to girls that nearly 75% of girls in the United States are insecure and participate in negative activities such as drinking, cutting, smoking, sexual activities at a young age, as well as suicide. And so this angered me more than anything I had ever experienced. I was so mad, and I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to change this. So the summer before my senior year, I had these big aspirations. So as president of the club, I decided I was going to change the world. I was going to change Bozeman. I was going to change every single girl in that high school. And so I read many books because I wanted to get as much knowledge so I could change the world. And one book consisted of The Road of Lost Innocence by Somalia Mom. It's about sex slavery in Cambodia. Now, this is another thing I could go off on for another hour, but I emailed Somalia and I said, this was a beautiful book. It was so beautiful. Could you please come to my school and speak about your story? I mean, who could turn this down? I can't pay for your plane flight ticket, but, I mean, you could come to Montana. And for some reason, she turned it down. She had to go to Cambodia and stop sex slavery. I don't know. But after a couple days, I realized, what was I thinking? I can't change the world. I can't change Bozeman. And I can't change all the girls in my high school, except myself. So that's what I did. I changed my approach. And I realized that I can influence the world. I can influence Bozeman. And I can influence one girl. And so this is what I did. And I took this to my club. And at the beginning of my senior year, my club had nearly 45 members. And we held a balloon release for domestic violence. We wanted to spread awareness about it. And we knew that we could influence the kids by only having balloons flying in the air and signs that said domestic violence instead of talking about the red flags that would only bore them. And this was very successful. And I also brought in many speakers to talk about domestic violence and suicide and eating disorders. And even some wonderful women who told their go-getter stories about how they struggled through events such as sex slavery to give us inspiration that we could still go through this whole ordeal we were trying to stand up against. We were trying to stand up against the media. And the biggest thing we did is we held a whole session at the middle school, and we talked about respect. And I bet when you hear respect, as I do, you think of your third grade teacher saying, respect yourself, respect others, and respect the property. But she's right. She's completely right. It took me this many years to realize it, but I now know that if you don't respect yourself, you certainly don't respect others, and you most definitely do not respect the property or the environment, as I like to think it. And we talked about what self-respect means, what it looks like, where you can get self-respect. And when you have self-respect, the doors swing open. And oddly enough, with such a corny topic, the kids loved it. And at the end of the day, a little girl came up to me and she said, I loved the whole lesson you taught us. Every single kid loved it. Thank you so much. But I can't help from thinking, is that they're all going to forget it. I looked at her and I said, you're right. They're all going to forget it. In 2 weeks, they won't think about it. But do you know what matters? Do you know what truly matters? Is that you won't forget it. She got a big smile on her face. And I thought in my head, you're right. She won't forget it. She will have that self-respect we were talking about and that confidence so that she will be one less statistic for domestic violence, which is nearly 1 in 4 girls. She will be one less statistic for suicide. One less girl to walk down the hallway with her head down. One more girl to stand up to that bully on the playground. And this is my mission. I plan to influence one girl at a time. Because I know if I can influence one girl to have self-respect, self-esteem, body esteem, and confidence, the doors will open for her. Can you imagine a world where every single girl had self-respect? It'd be a much different world. Now this is my plan. It's a simple plan. But I plan to spread awareness about self-respect, and I plan to influence one girl at a time. Because I know if I can influence one girl at a time, ultimately, I can influence the world. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.